Hi there, I'm Gillian, a Digital Marketing Master's student at UWS. As part of our course, we are required to create a website and blog, and then create a social media presence for the chosen site. It didn't take me long to think about the subject I wanted to blog about. I knew I had to choose something I was interested in, as I think this is when your blog is honest and interesting to the readers. So for me, my passion is food, in particular eating out in restaurants and exploring the food scene near me or wherever I am. So with that, Plates of Glasgow was created. The name is pretty self-explanatory, but it did actually take me a while to think of this. It might seem simple, but there was a lot of thought that had to go behind it. It is, after all, what everything else will follow under: social media, the blog posts, websites and more. So I knew it was important to set the tone right with the right name, and also so it was instantly recognisable as a food blog. I also wanted a tagline for the site, so I went with "Exploring Glasgow's food scene, one plate at a time." The Glasgow food scene is already a real interest to me. I already follow lots of other blogs and social media accounts. However, I'm looking forward to joining other bloggers on this journey of exploring the Glasgow food scene for myself. There isn't a shortage of bloggers doing this worldwide, but as this is an interest to me, I feel that this was the push I needed to start a blog, and I hope I'll be able to continue with it past this semester. I want a platform to write about my views on places I visit for friends, family, and other people interested in this area. So, as mentioned, I'm doing a food blog, in particular the Glasgow food scene. This is a vibrant and electric movement right now, with places in Glasgow producing some of the best food I've ever experienced. The restaurants are not just the food, but the way they have changed areas. For example, my favourite area of Glasgow right now is Finniston. Argyle Street is lined with old buildings and tenement flats, which used to have nothing other than a few shops, rundown cafes and takeaways. Now they are filled with creative, modern and exciting places to eat and drink. I'm sure people who lived or live here or knew the area before could never anticipate this boom. I love seeing what these new restaurants have been able to do for the area. My passion for food, especially in Glasgow, is the justification in doing the topic that I have chosen. The restaurant scene in Glasgow is not slowing down, and I don't see it anytime soon. Within the last year, there have been more than 30 new places opening. With this, I think it's an exciting time to be reviewing the older places and the new in Glasgow, and to see what happens in the future. So now I had the name and the topic, I decided to read up on platforms to use to create websites. I decided upon WordPress. This was a personal choice, as it seemed to me to be the most popular and compatible for me and what I was looking to do. Although I have a website with a registered domain name, the layout of the site is more like a blog, with posts in chronological order. I wanted to keep my website structure quite simple to begin with. I haven't made a blog or website before, so learning the basics and not overcomplicating the page was important for me. I wanted the content I was writing on the blog post to be the important part over the look at the beginning. I wanted to ensure that my page was user friendly and easy to read and navigate throughout. To make it as user friendly as possible, I have a very generalised layout, header at the top of the page with the blog post located underneath. As of yet, with the number of posts I have written, I have not split them into categories. However, as my blog grows and I add more, I want to split them up, as I think this would make navigation easier for the visitor to the site. For example, cheap eats, cuisines, new restaurants, etc. I have, however, used tags to identify what is what. Food in Glasgow will appear in every post I write, as I think this will keep it streamlined and easy for the reader, but also for my SEO. My primary activity will be providing blog posts about restaurant in Glasgow with my own opinion offered. From research and looking at my demographic, I feel that the content that will be most popular is imagery. It can be a quite text heavy thing with a review, so a healthy balance is with pictures. Plus, a picture speaks 1,000 words, so that saves me writing too much that probably wouldn't get read in so much detail anyway. I have to take into the consideration, of course, the fact that I'll need to have at least 300 words for my blog to get picked up in Google search results. So here's my digital marketing mix. Well, it's a traditional marketing mix turned digital. So my product, although I'm not selling, I'm offering up my honest opinions to the audience, who is hopefully the demographic of wanting to find out about the restaurants in Glasgow, since this is my primary activity. The price is free of charge to subscribe, to read the content. However, I would consider and hopefully become associated with being really honest in turning receiving free meals, as this is a very expensive blog right now. I'm not complaining, I'm enjoying eating out and trying new places. So I think that means it will be building up who I am as a person and as a blogger first before I can expect anything else. The place, well, it's through organic searching and creating a great social media following for me at the moment. Promotion, again, developed through my SEO and social media strategy, but overall I want it to be user friendly and easy for the audience to find and read, but to gain this following on social media. The digital marketing mix will predominantly, so I'll be covering website optimization and social media. They're the most relevant to my blog. My website optimization, of course, covering SEO, and social media will be the platforms that I use to promote my site. So, as I've just touched on, my content will be made up of photos, text, and eventually videos. All of these will be used not just on my website, but on all my social media channels. The channels I've chosen are Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So, SEO is here by Bailey, a host of practices and techniques designed to optimize your website for search engines so that your pages show up higher in the results list. It is important to get the keywords right in order to translate into a better SEO, which in turn will move me up on the Google search engine results page. This would be extremely beneficial, as more views from this in turn results in a larger audience to gain a better following and then a loyalty from the audience. To find out what words would be beneficial to my page, I used Google Trends and analysed the most searched and popular in my category of food and restaurants, and in particular I looked at Glasgow restaurants. There are popular keywords within this, which of course I was pleased to see, so I've taken them on board for my own blog. I'll continue to check back with Google Trends to see what is trending to use and to even write a blog on to make myself that bit higher there. For my SEO strategy, I also had to define who my target audience would be, but also their interests, the age, sex, geographic location, and their needs were all to be taken into consideration. From understanding not only the demographics, but who my audience would be, this would allow me to look at target words for readers to discover my blog. I think it's important to understand your audience and who you want to reach. My blog in food is quite wide and this can cover many demographics. Therefore, sex and age wasn't going to be a huge factor in my strategy, unlike geographic location and needs. As Glasgow is in the name, this was important as this is the area that I'm covering and it would be most relevant to. Of course, the demographics will become easier to sort after my blog's live and I've actually got statistics to work with. But for now, researching the marketplace and using competitors to see and to set myself a social media strategy so I can understand the goals that I want to meet and hopefully achieve. Social media is considered as the best tools at a brand disposal. It's excellent for allowing engagement with who you need to. However, it is overcrowded. It can be hard to stand out. I find that the social media pages I follow are mostly with people I have a sense of loyalty to. So for me, I'm hoping to build a loyal following to give the readers a sense of community and belonging. That is where my SEO strategy will be linked here also, as I'm ensuring I'm targeting the audience who will be interested. First for me was to create and to understand my goals. This is a new project for me, so I had to be realistic with this. However, I want to grow my following and audience base. So from the beginning, I knew I wanted to raise awareness and engagement to my website and social media platforms. Of course, SEO was considered for this firstly, but there is more to be done. I wanted to not only gain awareness and engagement, but also to build this loyalty. Especially with this being my personal reviews, I want my audience to trust what I'm saying. For my social media strategy, I also looked at the competition within this topic of the Glasgow food scene. There is quite tough competition, which I'm happy to be a part of. I'm hoping to find my own following and voice within this area. So for me, this is another goal that I have. By having consistent and engaging content on my social platforms and website, I hope that this will help me stand out and become almost a figure, a place where people look to gain an honest insight into the food scene. From my competitors, I've also found out what works and what doesn't. As I've said before, I'm hoping to keep being consistent with 3 blog posts a week to keep my audience engaged every week. It seems some of the competition is not thorough and don't update regularly enough. I understand the power of content, as I personally know this is what draws me into a social media page or website. It's so important that the content is interesting, high quality, engaging, and in turn producing what your audience want. And in turn, you will then receive their loyalty and following. This can be from images or the text produced. Through my content produced, I hope that this will meet my need of my target audience. Although the power of video was strong, according to Cisco, video traffic will be 82% of all consumer internet traffic by 2020. Right now, my social media strategy has only opted for images and text. I will eventually filter in video when I have a steady following on the blog and social media platforms. I'm learning how to improve my photography when taking images of food. I want to ensure that these are a high quality and the best example that I can give to my audience. As I take more photos and develop my skills, I will begin to develop my own style, which I hope will help me stand out on social media and on my website. To ensure that I have a voice and almost a brand, Plates of Glasgow will be used to help me to produce this reliable and honest content. I also want to try and inject my voice through humorous elements, as this is in my personality, and I want this to come through and not be overly serious. From my reach also, some humour is appreciated and relatable to the audience. So now I have some goals in place. I needed to think about the content and what platforms I wanted to use and what I thought would be relevant and helpful in promoting my website. For this, I chose Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook, I've got quite a large amount of friends on there, so it was easy to share and to get the word out about my page, which then in turn allowed me to have links to my website, which then in turn meant that my friends were able to see my page. Twitter is similar to Facebook. It's just a good place to share and follow people within the industry specifically and to keep up with that news and industry news. Also through the ability to retweet or give my own opinions and use hashtags. It is really good at getting noticed and to keep engagement high. And Instagram, as my content is mostly photos right now, this is the perfect platform to display them, with a link to the site that I've made my Instagram a business page, and this is linked with my Facebook page. I wanted to try and keep all my social connected where possible, and this is great for statistics, but also when it comes to creating ads, etc. It's also easy for your following to find your pages and your sites. Through my Instagram, you can find my Facebook, and then on my Twitter, I have my website, Facebook website, Instagram website. So everything's hopefully going to link in there. In the future, I'll definitely be using Google AdWords to create a PPC campaign for my website. I haven't chosen to do one just now due to the size of the site. I'm looking to grow this organically to begin with, or through small ads. I ran an ad initially when I first created my Facebook page to try and target a wider audience. I set the demographics and their main interests. I had an image with a small amount of text as the ad. It wasn't overly successful, however, I hadn't put too much money behind it, therefore I couldn't have expected any different results. It did bring in 5 new likes and follows, which resulted in more views on my website, but I've definitely learned from this in my next campaign. I will hopefully be able to run more successfully. I've also looked at promoting my page on Twitter and Instagram to see if this will generate a larger audience for me. I'll probably try this first, then begin with a Google PPC campaign. As for affiliate marketing campaigns, right now I'm paying for every meal that I'll be eating out, which is expensive. However, I'm not looking for anything for free. Right now, I'm hoping to build up a following of people who trust my opinion and believe what I'm saying to them. Therefore, I'm giving away free marketing for these restaurants, but in return for my own social media following and a larger audience for my website. However, as I build up more of a following and a larger audience, which hopefully will happen. I would love to be able to work with brands and restaurants that I do love. I think Glasgow has such an exciting food scene. Well, of course, this is why I'm doing it, but I'm really passionate about it. So, being affiliated or being compensated for offering a review on a restaurant would absolutely be welcomed. I would also love to collaborate with other food bloggers in Glasgow. Sometimes it can seem and feel that as a dog eat dog kind of industry, it's very competitive online now. However, some bloggers have actually approached me already to offer support and advice on my food journey. I think it would be great in the future if I become established to arrange meetups with fellow bloggers, but also to collaborate on other blogs. Someone can write a post for mine and vice versa. However, right now this is quite far down the line, but I would love to see this happen, and this is a personal goal for me. As of right now, I'm really happy with how my Google Analytics are sitting. I've only posted 4 times on the site, yet the data I'm able to receive is really interesting and highly beneficial. First up, my bounce rate is currently sitting around the 36 to 37% mark. For me, I feel this is a pretty good average for the amount of current posts that I have. It's great seeing new visitors versus the returning visitors, and I am happy already with the 83.6 percent new, and in only 4 posts I have 17.4% returning. Of course, I'm hoping this will change and be a lot more returning, but initially I think this is acceptable for how new my blog is. My demographic analytics have been extremely important and relevant to me. It's great to see that the ages of my visitors, as this allows me to monitor my content and ensure that this is covering my demographic well. It helps me to think and plan the new content that will be engaging for this audience that is viewing my site. As for the top devices, I feel that this was important as I can ensure that my site is now optimised for use on all devices, including mobile, desktop, and tablet, meaning I can ensure that everyone is having the same user experience as they should be. As my highest viewing is from a mobile, I'm going back to ensure that this is working well. It's been interesting looking at where my site is getting viewed from, especially with it being specifically about Glasgow. However, I hope through these stats that perhaps tourists or visiting guests in Glasgow would find this blog beneficial. Another area I'm gathering information from is users by the time of day, so I can schedule or make my posts live at these popular times to ensure the highest engagement, but also as this is when it clearly suits my audience to read my posts at their time and leisure. Also from the age range, the highest ranking age on my viewing site is between the ages of 25 to 34. This to me would be young professionals who have the time and perhaps disposable income to spend on eating out, compared to the higher or lower demographic who may not have the time or finances. However, this is sheer speculation, but it means I can offer a variety of suggestions to cover all budgets and requirements. At this stage, I'm still trying to understand my analytics to make the best out of the information that I'm receiving from this. As more posts are published, I'll be able to assess this clearly and go from there with this stage. I created private pages away from being linked to my personal pages so that I could look at the stats from them. My social media response has been really positive so far. I initially started a Twitter and Instagram only. However, I found that a Facebook page would help to get my sites shared, and as more of my friends are on Facebook, be able to engage with them. Instagram is great for this type of site as photos definitely draw people in, and also through the use of hashtags, which gets you noticed. And I've also started to hashtag the brand name, Plates of Glasgow, so now if people look that up, that's what they'll see and it'll take them right back to my page. That to me is quite important. I feel like that's engaging with your audience as well. Twitter for me is always a bit slower, however, it is really good for keeping up to date with the industry and to initially share messages through retweeting, etc. It's quite an easy to access, doesn't have too much to it, but I'm using it because I feel like it is helpful. Looking at the stats that I do have so far, I'm able to see what areas I need to work on. I want to improve slightly on my bounce rate and expand my following on social platforms. I want my users to be highly engaged and interested, so taking into consideration the demographics to ensure my content is relevant and interesting to them. Of course, there's room for improvement on everything, and I think that as I get to know WordPress and how to best use my social platforms, I will be able to develop this into a very successful project. Well, that's the plan. Starting this website has been really exciting. First off, I am learning every day. about WordPress. I'm developing my skills on social media platforms. I'm developing my analytical understanding and so much more. It has become almost an obsession, and I'm wanting to create the best content and posts that I possibly can for my small but loyal following, but also in order to expand. I'm hoping to develop my content creation skills and also my photography for my site. I also want to personally develop in WordPress and make my site as best I can. I want to create a much better logo and header, although for now I'm happy with my branding. Another goal I have on my site is to ensure that the user experience stays the same, that it doesn't get too fancy and it doesn't take away from what it is, which is just to offer up simple, honest reviews. My personal goal is to continue this blog, to build a better website, post higher quality images, gain a much larger following on social media. But I am dedicated and committed to this. It's been something I'd wanted to do, but of course the usual excuses were made and I never got round to it. So this has been an excellent part of the digital marketing course and is teaching me invaluable skills which are highly transferable to the job market. As more posts are created, I understand that I'll have to make modifications to house this growth, but I am looking forward to the challenge. When my posts build up on my website, I shall be looking to create categories so that my posts will be able to be archived and found easier, making the user experience as simple and enjoyable as possible. I am also looking into the possibility of doing videos. This could be from a restaurant, but also to add a home cooking element, just to try to create some different and unique content to my site, but I'm definitely going to be building this in slowly. This is quite a time consuming project, so my time management skills are also being tested. But overall, I have really enjoyed the creation of this website and social media platforms so far. I have had a lot of questions and interest from friends, and I'm taking on their feedback as they are the audience. But hopefully, this can become a reliable source for people to look at for recommendations in the Glasgow food scene.